Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Affordable Flyers, ANN flies the Blackshape Prime. Risen confirms results of Flutter program. Flight schools buy up DirectFly's entire Alto NG showcase. And I'm your host, Talon Lee. Welcome to Airborne Affordable Flyers, our programming designed to help you get and stay in aviation as affordably as possible. Overseen by the editorial staff of the award-winning Sport Plane Resource Guide, we know well the challenges faced by today's sport flyers, and we're here to help you enjoy flying to the utmost. Now let's get into today's stories. ANN flies the Blackshape Prime. ANN's Jim Campbell got an hour in the SLEEK Blackshape Prime last week, along with a chance to wring it out a bit in order to investigate its performance and capabilities. This is the report. The current generation of tandem hot rods are getting a lot of attention, but the Prime appears to deserve it. The low-wing composite test bird was powered by a Rotax 915 and an MT prop, retractable gear, and a lavish bubble canopy that makes one feel like they're flying in a goldfish bowl. Entry and exit may be mildly challenging to those with bad knees, but a little practice will improve the ease of the procedure. Inside, the bird offers decent shoulder room, good headroom, and adjustable rudder pedals behind a center stick. Procedurally, the bird starts and readies for flight easily, all controls are close at hand, and the single-point braking system on the throttle quadrant works fairly well. 2 notches of flaps, full power, lighten the nose and let the bird fly off with excellent viz over the nose and control response that relies on one to lead with the rudder for solid roll authority and light but responsive pitch that is devoid of any mechanical drag. In cruise, about 140 knots, 50% power, and all cleaned up at 4,500 feet. The bird exhibits solid static margins and excellent dynamic properties in each axis. Slow flight is quite obedient, but actual stalls show modest onset warnings with light amplitude, low frequency buffets before a mild but notable break of 5 to 15 degrees depending on configuration. The bird will mildly break towards any yaw dissymmetry, but beyond that there's no notable tendency toward auto-rotation or other negative behavior. Cruise speeds, depending on altitude and power settings, are 140 to 160 knots, down low at 50% to 70% power, but at more efficient altitudes, 180 knots is attainable. Landing behavior is not as slippery as expected, and the bird doesn't float excessively. Rudder tracks the center line obediently, and if used properly, you'll never go astray. Overall, a really nice airplane with great potential when Mosaic makes an appearance. We'll have more extensive info in the near future. After the break, Rotax service instruction published.
For over 30 years, the massive Sport Plane Resource Guide has provided expert, credible information, evaluations, and critical analysis of all that the sport aviation world has to offer. The all-new digital Sport Plane Resource Guide is coming with extensive multimedia features that are constantly updated, an even more comprehensive online guide to all things sport aviation. Available soon. www.sportplane.com.
DirectFly USA proudly introduces the new Alto NG, a single-engine, 2-seat light sport aircraft for the North American market. This simple, all-metal aircraft design provides low-maintenance cost, easy, comfortable access, and responsive flight controls. Equipped with a Rotax 912 engine and a ballistic parachute, the Alto NG is reliable and safe. Learn more about the Alto NG at DirectFlyUSA.com.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Rotax service instruction published. Rotax has reported that field observations revealed several incorrect installations or maintenance or fuel pressure sensors attached to the genuine Rotax fuel distribution block part number 851328. If you own, operate, distribute, or service a Rotax 912 AFUL or Rotax 912S ULS engine equipped with fuel distribution block PN 851328, this service instruction contains important information regarding the proper installation and maintenance of the fuel distribution block for Rotax 912 series aircraft engines. LAA alert published for Gen 4 Jabiru 2200 and 3300 engines. The Light Aircraft Association has published Alert A3-2025, highlighting a recent service bulletin JSP 51, published by Jabiru Aircraft, which applies to specific Jabiru 2200 and 3300 engines, and requires the replacement of the pistons on engines within certain serial numbers, which they state were supplied between April 2017 and August 2019. Jabiru regards the bulletin as mandatory. The bulletin advises that Jabiru has identified that pistons supplied with the affected engines were in some cases susceptible to failure, and have specified that the pistons must be replaced by pistons of the later improved designs at or before 200 hours running time. AMA names Tyler Dobbs as new executive director. On April 28th, the Academy of Model Aeronautics named Tyler Dobbs as its new executive director. He previously served as a part of the organization's government affairs team and will now replace Chad Boudreau in a higher role. AMA is a nonprofit community of hobbyists that come together over a love for designing, building, and flying model aircraft of all shapes and sizes. Its nationwide network supports flying fields, learning opportunities, friendly competitions, and safe environments for club activities. FlightSimExpo set for late June. FlightSimExpo is coming back for 2025, taking place at the Rhode Island Convention Center from June 27th to 29th. It's nice to see the Flight Simulation Association keep up their tempo in the industry, as one of the few cost-effective, accessible routes to onboard newcomers into aviation. Sim fidelity is worlds apart from where it was in decades past, and each year the association finds ways to show the computer avoidant what they've been missing. That's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Risen confirms results of flutter program. The Porto Aviation Risen has gotten a lot of attention for a non-stop transatlantic run to Oshkosh last year, distinctive looks, and some impressive cruise speeds. But now, Porto reports that they have conducted necessary flutter analysis to make sure the bird can handle the speeds demonstrated to this point by engines ranging up to the Rotax 916. The company recently reported that, quote, Porto Aviation Group is actively expanding the Risen's flight envelope to meet stringent certification requirements and facilitate future advancements. Recent in-flight flutter tests conducted on the Risen SV, exceeding its never-exceed speed, have conclusively demonstrated the exceptional aerodynamic stability of its unique dual-spar carbon fiber wing. The test confirmed the absence of flutter up to 296 knots true airspeed, or 243 knots indicated airspeed, providing a safety margin more than double the certification requirements, end quote. The company asserts that the tests validate the airframe's current VNE of 242 knots true airspeed and 205 knots indicated airspeed for the Risen SV. The Risen is at the top of our list for aircraft we want to fly at Oshkosh this year, and we look forward to providing a proper flight test of this intriguing vehicle. After these messages, flight schools buy up DirectFly's entire Alto NG showcase.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/rusty today for details.
Welcome back. Flight schools buy up DirectFly's entire Alto NG showcase. DirectFly USA brought several of its best sellers, the Alto NG, to this year's FUN Aerospace Expo. In the end, every single one sold and will be put to work in a flight training role. Demand has yet to slow, with this year's production slots still filling up. Part of this can be attributed to the fact that the company's prices have remained almost the same despite current import tax bumps. The other reason for the Alto NG's popularity surrounds several upgrades made to the plane in 2025 that have added new engine options, a different standard braking system, revised avionics, updated paint schemes, and increased domestic parts availability. The 2025 Alto NG is being offered with two new engine options, the 100 horsepower Rotax 912 IS and the 120 horsepower Edge Performance EP915 ECI. These join the standard 100 horsepower Rotax 912 ULS. The sport plane also transitioned from the previous brake system to a Behringer-based setup and debuted a larger instrument panel structure to leave room for much bigger displays. Flight schools will appreciate DirectFly's work to make parts and maintenance more accessible within the U.S. this year. It has committed to keeping replacement parts, scheduled maintenance kits, and parts kits geared toward typical flight training needs stocked domestically, as well as staying prepared for unscheduled maintenance issues. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.